All right, so welcome back to the A to Z challenge. We're all the way up to C, and C this time around is for characters. So people have a lot of ideas about how to make a character and how to make a good character. And of course, this being the writing advice vlogs from Rena, I have some ideas about what makes a good character as well. So it's a little bit easier to start out with negative things. So I'm going to tell you what I think makes the bad way to do characters. A bad way to do a character is to take someone you know and to make them one of your characters in your book. Don't do this. The reason is because if you just pluck somebody right out of the real world and you make them into a character and they don't like it and they find out about it, you're in some serious hot water. Defamation aside, you're gonna lose a friend for sure. This part never goes well, so don't do that. Don't be that person. Um, the other side of this is you don't always know how they would react, and sometimes people sort of take offense to the way that you make people react in a characterized setting. So, yeah, don't do that. But one thing you really do want to do is you want to know your characters. I mean, you want to have like a really good idea of what it would be like to hang out with them. Like what would they be like if they went to a spa? Would they hate it? Would they love it? Would they want to do it again and again? Would they be like, well, that was neat that one time, and now I've done it and I'm done? And you also want to know how they would react under pressure. You know, which ways are they going to break? And because that part is really hard to figure out about a new person, people will often borrow from people they know to sort of blow life into a character, you know, sort of like blowing up a balloon. And aspects of that are okay. Like if you take parts of a person or parts of their personality and you mix it with parts of someone else's personality to come up with a character, that's actually a lot better. Um, Part of it is because when you make a character, they're supposed to be sort of this bigger, larger than life thing. And one person can't really encompass very well, at least not in some kinds of stories, what you need a character to do. You need them to have a certain ability and a certain sort of flair and pizzazz. And that's a lot to put on a person that you know. And so because people, and we all know this, people present only little bits of themselves, um, we assume that those other parts don't exist, which isn't true, of course. But if you take parts of one person and parts of another, hopefully you will avoid upsetting people. And when you're asked truthfully later on, is this based off of someone? You can say parts of it are. So parts of it really are, but more than one person. Well, that gives you a layer of ambiguity that's also legally very helpful, as well as it's just good practice. Don't do that. Don't steal people's lives for your own gain and benefit. That's bad. That's stealing, like literally stealing. And you're not just stealing personalities or traits or quirks. You're stealing their hardships and their good times and their bad times. So don't do that unless they've given you express permission. But do know your characters um, and break them, make them hurt, and then you'll know them. And then they're much more fun to write because once you know them, they'll be real people to you. Um, in fact, they'll start to be so real that you'll be like, well, I never had a time when it was a choice. They just were that way. They were always that way. And that's a question I get asked all the time. When did you choose to do such and such character? And the answer should be something like, I didn't make a choice. They were always that way. I just wrote it down. So I hope that helps. Again, if it works for you, use it. If not, see you next time.